Okay, you ready?
All right, yep.
Get comfy.
Yep. We like pillows in our lap.
Yeah, we like pillows in our lap.
Hi, guys.
Hi. So we decided to do our very first video for this podcast. So we'll release it on YouTube and on Spotify as well, so that we can talk to you guys in person, because we feel like we're missing human connection right now.
Yeah, it's funny because we do podcasts, so we don't usually do video, and we've been talking for a while about doing some video, but we figured today was a great day to just start jumping on video so we could connect with you guys in person. And wish you were here with us. That would be even better.
Oh my gosh, that would be so nice. That's the one thing, that's the biggest thing that I miss right now, is getting in a group of women or a group of people in general and just like sitting and talking.
Yeah, my friend Shelly put a post on Facebook today about, and I'm not gonna remember what it said exactly, but it was about like how hard this is for the huggers.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
Because I'm a hugger, and so it's like, even yesterday I walked into Jasmine's place of work and I'm like, I can hug my daughter, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to turn my phone off. Sorry. Nice
okay
close up there. I'm going to turn this phone off so that it doesn't go off. Actually, since my phone's going off, I'm going to just talk about what that text is really quick.
Okay, yeah, go.
So one of my friends just found out that her husband was exposed to COVID-19 at work.
Really?
And she's got 2 little ones at home, and so she's just struggling and kind of reaching out, just talking about how hard it is. Her kids aren't even school aged, so them, the whole school being out doesn't. I guess we should have just said at the beginning that this is obviously during the COVID-19 15 days to slow the spread, so that if you're watching this in the future or not currently, you know what we're talking about.
Yeah.
So right now what's going on, obviously if you're watching it now, you know, but a lot of us are social distancing, and schools have been closed, and a lot of businesses have been closed, and we're being urged to stay at home and not go out unless it's for the essentials. Mm-hmm. And so she's been struggling, and so we've just been kind of talking back and forth, kind of giving some suggestions of what to do. And that's what I think we want this episode. We didn't write this episode or prepare anything.
Kind of just wanted to talk about like what our fears have been, things that we've been dealing with, things that we feel like could help us and you guys to cope with the lack of community right now, the lack of social connection, and just like all of the things that come along with that.
Yeah, we just really want it to be organic and just discussing kind of our cycles through this and how things have happened. Yeah. So for me personally, the first couple days, first of all, we just sold our business, which if you've listened to our last episode, you know that. And that was super exciting and something awesome that happened in our life. And that high only lasted for a couple days, and then this all hit.
And then all the craziness happened.
And in one sense, we could think, oh, really good timing. We sold our business. It's not our problem anymore. But it's actually been a very different experience for me. I have actually almost wished we didn't put the new owner. Now I'm going to get emotional. I was not expecting this because I'm actually doing really well right now, but it's really hard to know that this new owner is taking on our business, and right at the beginning of all of this, and having to take on the pressure and the stress of this when he bought a new business. And he's been amazing, and he's handling it so well, and he's such a good manager, and he's been so good with the employees that it does give me peace that it was the right person to purchase our business. But I haven't quite had that sense of relief that it's not my problem or my responsibility anymore, because I do feel responsible for the business doing well and being successful, and also for the employees that work there. Though they have become like family to me, and I really want them to be able to pay their bills and to get what they need, and their families being taken care of. I want them to stay safe, and it's been really hard for me to just let go and think it's not my problem anymore. It really still does. I still feel very emotionally tied to that.
That's a very good character thing. That's something about you that you just really genuinely care. And I think that, a lot of people that are probably listening to this podcast can probably relate with that, is that we really truly care. We feel our emotions. We feel those things deeply. And when you're passing it on to somebody, and you could not have foreseen this in a million years, and then you want him to be successful and him to do well with what you're handing him because you feel somewhat responsible for what you're giving him.
Yeah.
But you also have to remember that there's no way you could have foreseen this, you know? And so all you can do is help out and have faith that what's meant to happen is going to happen, and that he is a good manager and will be able to come back from this. And I think he's doing a great job.
Well, it's been really cool because I've been home a lot because we just sold the business, and Jasmine and I haven't opened our yoga studio yet. Mm-hmm. And so I've been home a lot, and so I'm seeing what's going on in the news. I'm hearing what my friends are struggling with, and I'm not really there to see what's going on. And when I show up there, everybody there is great. Like, the spirits are high, everyone's happy, everyone's functioning, everyone's moving forward. They're dealing with it the best they can, and it actually helps me to go over there and see that everything's still moving and things are still going forward and life is still going on. So that's been really helpful for me.
It's kind of crazy because it does feel like because I've gone from home to work to home or to here. Like, I've been over here a couple of times. And so for me, it almost, if I don't turn on the news or get on social media, I almost forget that it's happening because the energy has just been so positive everywhere that I've gone. And then, like, obviously everybody at the very beginning of this struggled with it, right? Everybody at the very beginning had a breakdown. I have a group text message running with my friends, and we each had a day where we just totally freaked out, you know? Yeah. And I think that's completely normal and healthy, because we all need to process what's actually going on and know that it's real, right? Like, not just ignore it and pretend it's not happening. But other than my one freak out day that I've had, it's been a pretty cool time.
That's, and that's, I'm going to grab some water here in a second, but that's another thing I wanted to say is that I've had friends reach out to me, and the biggest thing I've done is just given people permission to fill it for a day or two, because I was fine for a couple of days and then it built up. And I think sometimes if you ignore it and you don't want to deal with it, it's still there and it's actually affecting you. Yeah. So I think it's okay to give in for what the thoughts and the feelings and the fears and everything that's coming up with you, coming up inside of you. I want you to feel like you can be honest with people and talk to people, reach out to people that are close to you to talk about that. Don't be afraid to talk about it because you don't want to create more fear. You've got to talk about it to let it go. Yeah. And so I finally had to kind of tell my husband, hey, these are my concerns. These are my fears. This is what's coming up for me. And once I was able to get all that out, and I had a day where I stayed in bed most of the day. I cried a little bit. I just let myself feel the weight of what's going on. Yeah. And then I was fine. And then the next day I woke up, okay, what am I going to do today to not feel like that? And in the past, before I had the tools that I had, I could stay in that for weeks.
Oh yeah.
Stay in bed, feel the weight of it, feel depressed, let the fears overtake me. But I felt it for a day, I allowed it for a day. And then the next day, okay, what am I going to do today? I got up and I went for a walk. Mm-hmm. And then I planted some flowers in my yard, and I pulled some weeds, and I soaked up some sunshine, which we can't do today because it's snowing.
There's still a little bit of sun out there, but
instead of turning the TV on, I put jazz music on my TV and just turn that on pretty loud so I could hear it throughout the house. And each day I wake up every day going, okay, am I going to allow myself to watch the news and see what's going on today so that I stay informed, or am I going to have a day off? And I kind of have noticed I'm doing that almost every other day. Yeah. So one day I kind of check in, what's going on? Is there anything I need to be aware of? I don't consume myself with it. I don't spend the whole day. I just do a check-in. And then the next day I decide I'm going to stay away from it. I'm not going to turn it on. I'm going to do something else.
Yeah, there are so many news sources out there, and we have the internet and social media where anybody can post on them and have their opinion about it. And we live in a time where, because information is so free and so accessible, that a lot of people feel like they're experts on things that they're not really experts on. And so we have to be very careful about what we're listening to and what media we're paying attention to and what we're letting into our space, because there are some toxic, dramatic people out there.
I'm really glad you brought that up, because I have found myself, at the beginning I'm not a news watcher. Yeah. And so I don't know which news sources are do you trust, which ones don't? I don't know anything about that.
Yeah.
I am not a news watcher. I don't follow politics. And so what I've found is probably the first week or so I just watched whatever was out there, and I realized how much like fear there is, how fear-based things are. And so I made a rule for myself that I was only going to watch the press briefings, what's going on with our state. So if the governor of our state comes out with something, I watch that. I watched the press conferences and briefings from the White House. And then today I was watching the newest briefing from the World Health Organization.
Yeah.
So I'm just watching the actual facts that are coming out, and I'm not watching the news, because in the news, everyone's putting their opinions and their politics into it. And there's a lot of misinformation. So I'm just watching the actual facts.
Yeah, get it straight from the source rather than, and it's been really nice too, because I have a friend, Taylor, who works at the hospital, and so she's been kind of like keeping us updated on some positive things, and I love like her Instagram story. She's been posting all the positive things. So like Dave Ramsey made a post a couple of days ago about everything that's happening that's good about COVID-19, and she posted that on her stories. And so I've kind of been following Taylor because she's been kind of in the know, because she's at a hospital and she has to be, but she's been posting all the positives because she's got to focus on the positives because she's surrounded by it, right? And that's probably the healthiest thing you can do right now, because honestly, there are so many people taking care of this. There are vaccines that are getting really close to coming out. There are all the governments that are putting policies in place. So I think the biggest thing that we can do is pay attention to those policies, listen to those policies, and then after that, we can't worry about it anymore. We just have to...
it's kind of cool in the sense, and this is one of my positives, is that sometimes in life there's things that we have no control over. And I think it's a good lesson for us all to learn that we don't have control, so we have to just stay positive, do our best, and just do what we can, do our part. Everything happens for a reason. I'm a firm believer that everything happens for a reason. I'm a firm believer that it is all for the good, and that bad things happen, but good comes out of it. So not that this is for the good that this is happening, but because this is happening, other good things will come out of it. We will grow. We will be stronger. There will be lessons learned, and good will come out of it. And so that's kind of been my thing every day, is looking forward to the good things and the changes that will come out of it.
I know, it's been really cool to see people staying home, and the roads being less crowded, and the stores being less crowded, and as the panic has calmed down, and just, I don't know, people reaching out more over text and phone calls and things like that. It's really cool to watch. And so
friends checking in on me and checking in on you, and just everybody checking in.
I want to read this quote really quick, because then I want to turn it to like some Netflix shows that we've been watching and some other positive things that we've been doing, so that we're not focusing on the negative, we're focusing on the positive. But there's this really cool quote that my friend shared over a text message thread, and I posted it on my page, but I just want to read it because I just like, it resonated really, really big for me. So it says, and you probably have seen it because it's kind of been spreaded all over right now, but it says, "And the people stayed home and read books and listened and rested and exercised and made art and played games and learned new ways of being and were still and listened more deeply. Some meditated, some prayed, some danced, some met their shadows, and the people began to think differently, and the people healed. And in the absence of people living in ignorant, dangerous, mindless, and heartless ways, the earth began to heal. And when the danger passed and the people joined together again, they grieved their losses and made new choices and dreamed new images and created new ways to live and heal the earth fully as they had been healed." And that's by Kitty O'Mara. And I that reaches right down in my soul. Like, I love that quote so much, because it's just so like what you're saying. Everything happens for a reason. And like, people talk about the end of the world a lot, and oh my gosh, on my panic day, I thought it was the end of the world. It was the day that the earthquake happened in Salt Lake City, and I woke up to an earthquake shaking my bed, and I was like, this is it. Like, the world's gonna end.
Well, it's so easy to spiral.
Oh my gosh, it's so easy to spiral. But I thought that day, and what kind of got me out of it, because I had a panic attack, I meditated, and I got through the day, and at the end of the day, I was like, you know what? Everyone talks about the end of the world like everything's just gonna stop and that's gonna be the end of it. But there's there's a law in physics that talks about how nothing is created or destroyed. Everything is always existing. It just shifts forms. It changes forms. It changes energy. And even Buddhist monks talk about that too in a spiritual way as well. It's just this law of the universe that nothing ever is destroyed. It just changes. And that's where I feel like we are right now. We're not it's not the end of the world, but it might be the end of the world as we know it.
Well, not only that, but how many of us are constantly asking for change and wanting change and know that the way that things are going and the way our society isn't healthy, isn't good. Yeah. We're all overworked. We're going too fast. We're trying to do too much. We're not connecting.
It's only getting worse.
And it's only getting worse. And we all want that change, but change only happens with this kind of stuff. Yeah. Like, you have to be uncomfortable with what is in order for change to happen. Yeah. And if everybody just stays in a comfort zone and things just keep going the way that they're going, change won't happen. Yeah. And so if we really want change, we have to be willing to go through that uncomfortable phase, that everything just looking so unnormal and being torn apart. And I mean, I don't want it to be worse than it is, but it just, there has to be, we have to get to this state of uncomfortableness. Yeah. And for change to happen. Exactly. And that's why I'm excited, because I know that change is going to occur.
Yeah. Can you imagine, like, next year looking back at this year, and this is already a historic year, 2020, and I knew 2020 was going to be a big year, but I think that there are some really big changes that are going to happen from this, and it's going to be all, like, we're going to look back at this year 3 years from now and be like, gosh, that's why that happened. That's so cool.
Me too. Well, and even, so we sold the business on March 6th, and we had decided that we were going to open our studio on June 1st. We have the studio. We have the space. But we decided we were going to give ourselves some time to prepare. We didn't know this was going to happen, but we chose June 1st as an opening date. And now with all of this going on, it's just like, okay, that's perfect, because that's going to be the time when people are going to be ready to connect again and get, and it's, President Trump said something in one of the conferences about that he hopes that we stay this way, referring to social distancing. And like, we really shouldn't shake hands because, on all these different things. And he was kind of vague on it, but I was sitting there listening to it and I thought, I hope not, because I don't like the social distancing.
We need human connection. That's what we're here for.
Yeah. So, it's even walking through Costco and people kind of go aside so they're not too close to you, which is great because everybody's being respectful. But I'm just like, I don't like this. I want to be able to shake hands and give hugs and connect with people.
100%. So I did want to say that kind of what I've been up to during this quarantine time is, so I've been doing meditation in the morning, but I also have recorded a couple of yoga sequences that I'm sharing with you guys, and they're the full, like, an hour-long class, but you don't have to go to class, you can do it at home. And I think they're pretty good. I like them. Wes did one of them with me, and so that was really fun. So it's been kind of cool because, like, we've been able to do yoga together, which is, he's been coming to my classes, but, like, when I'm teaching, he's doing yoga and I'm teaching, and so it's been kind of cool to do that together. But the next one is coming out the day we're filming this, which is Thursday. And it's uploading actually right now to YouTube. So if you guys want to do yoga, they're on YouTube. I will link them in the description below, or at the end of this video if you're watching this on YouTube, so that you can do some yoga and heal and exercise.
Which is a great lead into what are some things we can do.
Yes.
So with what's going on right now, it's really easy to, and I have nothing wrong with this, or nothing against this, because I'm doing this too, but it's really easy to just want to Netflix and chill.
That's mainly what I've been doing.
And that's great. But I know for me, I've got a little stir crazy, and I cannot sit and watch TV all day. Yeah. So I kind of keep my Netflix for at night, and after the day is gone. But every day I wake up with, okay, what am I going to do today? Which is really kind of cool. Yeah. Because how many of us have the time to do the things that we wanted to do?
Oh my gosh, I know.
So I'm going to grab this bowl really quick.
Yay!
Because I have to show Jasmine this, because I got this in the mail yesterday.
Did you figure it out?
I figured out how to make my bowl seed.
Yes!
So one of the things that's been on my to-do list was to learn sound healing. I want to do sound baths at our new yoga studio. I had gone to a sound bath a couple years ago with my husband, and freaking loved it.
Yeah.
And so I've always known that I've always looked for other sound baths to go to, and I can never find them in Utah. And so, of course, if you can't find something, then create it yourself. So I'm creating it myself because I can never find one to go to. So yesterday I got it, and easy, the gonging is easy. So making it vibrate is just hitting it super easy. But we were trying to make it sing, and you see people that make it sing, and we were doing this yesterday. We were trying to make it sing. Well, my husband figured it out last night. So I'm gonna get it started.
I can hear it.
So part of it is not going too fast, which is probably why I couldn't do it the first time. Of course, now that I'm trying to do it,
we were so excited.
I swear I had this down last night. But now that I'm trying to do it with you guys watching, but it has to do. Oh, I know why. I was gripping the bowl.
Oh.
Loose hand, because it can't vibrate if you're gripping onto it. A little.
Do you guys hear that? That's so exciting. Sorry, I will let it be calm. The vibes.
So I just wanted to show off a little bit of what I'm learning. I'm really excited about getting a gong because as I've been doing this, the gongs are my favorite. I love the gong, but I really like the Tibetan bowls. So just one of the things that I've been doing.
If you want to do that, you can. She got that on Amazon. So.
No, I actually didn't. I bought it from my sound healing course.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, which I was supposed to go to the course this weekend or this last weekend, and it got canceled because of all this. So I'm doing it online. So that's been fun and kept me busy. That's one of the things I've been doing.
Yep. I've been doing a lot of reading. I have like 3 books that I've been reading. I always like to pick one that's fun, one that's like furthering my spirituality, and one that's furthering like either my financial or my mental, whether it's like a history book or a finance book or a business book or something like that. So I usually have 3 books that I'm reading at a time. So I've been reading the Throne of Glass series mainly. I have some other books that I'm reading, The Richest Man in Babylon, and oh gosh, what is it called? I should have pulled this up before. It's either The Art of Happiness or The Art of Living. I've read one of them, and I'm reading the other one.
I was going to say, I know you have The Art of Happiness because I've seen that before.
Yeah, but they're both written by Buddhist monks, and they both kind of talk about similar things, but they just have some different concepts in them, and I really like that one. So
nice. That's
what I'm reading right now. And then, I mean, I'm going to be honest with you guys, Netflix is what I've been doing most of the time. So I've been reading, meditating in the morning, but then at night, me and Wes kind of just make dinner and Netflix.
Yeah,
and that's really
I
what we do.
think that's probably a pretty popular one.
Or cleaning the house.
We turn on Netflix and we start to watch something, and I feel like we've exhausted all our options because now every show that we turn on is just weird, or for some reason the whole list at the top, like suggested, is all like pandemic, end of the world stuff. And like, don't want to watch.
Don't watch those.
Don't understand why you're out there. They're really popular right now. No. Why are you watching those?
I know. Wes wanted to. The first day that Trump issued like the, what do you call it, the social distancing, and we were supposed to stay home, Wes is like, oh, let's watch Pandemic. So he turns it on, and I'm like, why are we watching this?
I don't understand why anybody would be watching any of those shows
terrible.
right now. Not
it's
a good
so
time
scary.
to watch those.
Yeah,
but I don't know.
It's so scary. Like when you're maybe later when we're not dealing with it.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, like when there's, I don't know, when there's other things we can do about it. But
I know. Well, and I want to say, in that realm, why feed into the fear?
Yes.
Like, I don't understand, and I'm not judging you if you watch it, but there's enough fear going around. There's enough fearful energy out there. Why feed into the fear? There's one thing with acknowledging that there is fear. There's one thing with allowing yourself to realize that you do have some anxiety and fear. But I don't understand why anybody would feed into it. Watch shows, watch the news, watch posts that are feeding into that. I know a lot of my friends right now are disconnecting from social media because it's feeding into those fears. I find it, I'm also very, very picky about who I follow, but I actually find Facebook comforting right now because that's my way of connecting and with seeing how everybody else is doing and connecting with others. So it's actually working really well for me. But I also I filter through. I do not follow people that post fear or hate or negativity. And so I'm finding it comforting. But whatever works for you, but if there's stuff that's contributing to the fear and contributing to you feeling worse, avoid that. Like, don't make it worse for yourself. Yeah.
Well, and really, if you really want to connect, and that's why you're getting on social media, is because you want to connect. I highly recommend starting a group text with as many people as you want, as many people that you know are going to be positive and uplifting and encouraging. And that's why I have 2 different groups. I have my friends from California, and then my friends from Utah that. There's like 3 people in each group, so there's 4 of us in each group, and both of them have been just so like, we just check in on each other, we post positive quotes. That quote that I read you guys was from one of those group text messages. We have been updating each other on what's going on in our states, because me and my friends in California obviously live in different states, and just encouraging each other and lifting each other up. And it's really nice because you kind of are grounded by the people that you love, you know? And so if you can keep a group text message going, and then we've even been like, okay guys, I'm freaking out. Like, does anybody else feel this way? And we can kind of validate each other's feelings. I highly recommend a group text. And then my friend Laura said, if you are a Netflix person, which I am, they have like this new, I can't remember what she called it. It's like a party feature or something where you can get on Netflix and you can watch TV shows and movies with your friends. So start your group text message, plan a time at night, and watch something positive that's not Pandemic. Do not watch Pandemic. It's a terrible show. It's really scary. I do not recommend it right now.
So one of the other things, and I haven't done this yet, but I want to, is going camping.
I know, I've been wanting to do that too.
Unfortunately in Utah, it's been cold the last couple of days. It's snowing today because we were going to go camping this weekend. It was a beautiful weekend. The weather has been really nice here up until 2 days ago. And so working in the yard, going for walks has been huge for me, getting out and planning food, because there has been some scare with food with this. And so what a great time to start a garden, plant your own full food, be self-sufficient. Sunday, Jasmine and her dad started some plants, and
they're just indoors, so we don't even really have to go outside right now. But because it's been snowing, there's some plants that I can't put outside yet. But he did give me some seeds too that I could go start outside. So me and my husband actually tonight is our date night. We're gonna grab some just like probably reclaimed wood, because we've got a bunch of reclaimed wood, and start making planter boxes that we can put in our backyard. So I've just been watering my plants every day and just watching my plants.
This is a perfect time for taking care of yards and growing food and becoming self-sufficient.
Yeah. You've got the time, guys.
I know. And of course, any kind of course that you've wanted to do online, any kind of information, moving forward, I just bought stuff yesterday to make yoga eye pillows for our yoga studio. So maybe some sewing
pillows
and anything. And trust me, I don't do that every day. Like, I don't want to come off like, oh, I'm like doing these courses and working in my yard and sewing pillows, because there are plenty of days when I'm just laying here eating, watching Netflix too.
Right, and that's
I'm
true.
trying to find the balance between both of them.
Yeah, you need a balance between both. I was telling you about that song Billy Joel sings a song called Vienna. Some of you are probably familiar with it. And it's been kind of my song for the year. Like, because it talks about like being ambitious, but like, why are you hurrying so fast? Like, things are going to happen when they're supposed to happen. And like the first line of the song is, slow down, you crazy child. And it's just like, I don't know. I think a lot of times we forget, and you talked about this a little at the beginning of the podcast, but we forget about surrendering and allowing, and how important those are, and how important it is to just allow things to happen in their time, because forcing things to happen when you want them to happen is just never going to work. And I got kind of sick at the beginning of coronavirus, not from coronavirus, but like from food poisoning. And so I was all weekend just laying on the couch watching Netflix and just feeling really sick. And I started to get down on myself, because I was seeing people starting to work from home and being so productive at home, and I was feeling like this is like the time in my life where I'm gonna have more time at home. I should be doing all of these projects that I want to do. I should be working upstairs, and I was just getting really down. So I don't know what happened, but the video stopped recording. But we're gonna keep going. So I was getting kind of down on myself because I started to think like, oh my gosh, I should be cleaning my upstairs because I've got a bunch of stuff upstairs that I need to clean out, or I should be doing the dishes, or I should be moving forward on all of these projects that I have. And I hated that feeling just because it was like I felt so lazy and felt so like I wasn't doing what I was supposed to be doing. But what I needed to be doing in that moment was just relaxing and allowing things to happen, you know, because 15 days in the big span of things is not that long time. It's not that long of a time to just allow yourself to be where you're at until you're ready to move on and get that motivation back to do the things that you want to do.
Yeah. Well, and how often is it in this world that we're all going through the same exact thing? So everyone understands what you're going through, and there's a lot less expectation than we usually have on us. I mean, usually we have so many deadlines to meet and expectations that maybe bosses have put on us or family has put on us. But right now those expectations are lowered, and it gives us permission to take a little time for ourselves. Do what you love. Do what you need to heal. Take the time that you need. For me, it's looked like learning some sound healing or working in my yard. For you, it might be reading a book or watching Netflix. For I was watching Ellen DeGeneres, and she's like working out every day, and I'm thinking, man, I wish that was me. I wish that's what I want to do. But for me, it's taking a walk. And so it just find what it is for you and what you need and what it is that you get to give yourself permission to do.
Awesome.
Take some time.
Awesome. Well, that sounds like a good place to end for me.
Yep.
So
should we do the call out?
Yeah, let's go ahead and do that. Yeah.
All right. So just a little bit of a call out for, I know that with what's going on, there are probably some people out there that are struggling with some mental illness. And so we just want you to know that we're here, and please reach out to us if there are some tools that we could give you, or if we could just give you a listening ear. We just want to be here for you. And we want to be able to connect with you and maybe provide some tools or just be a friend. So please feel free to reach out to us and let us know.
Yeah, we do understand what you're going through, and even if we can just, like she said, be a listening ear and just be here for you, to be someone to talk to. We'd love to be that for you. So if you want to reach out to us, you can either comment on the video if you're watching it on YouTube. You can message us on Instagram or on Facebook. On Facebook, I believe we're at The Happiplace, Happi, and on Instagram at The Happiplace Project, again, Happi. Or you can email us at thehappiplaceproject@gmail.com. I almost totally butchered that, but I say it.
That's why she does it.
Yeah, so reach out to us. We're here for you guys. And thank you so much for letting us do this podcast, because we also need people to talk to. And
it makes us feel like we're connecting, even if it's not in person, which we'd rather it be. But.
So thank you so much. You guys are so awesome.
All right, love you.
Be strong.